In 1939, German crews went to war in light tanks that were barely stronger than farm tractors. Just 6 years later, they were building 180-ton land battleships that defied the laws of physics. How did German engineering go from the tiny Panzer I to the monstrous Maus in such a short time? Today, we catalog the entire timeline of insanity, from the smallest motorcycle to the largest supertank. Let's inspect the hardware. The foundation: light and medium panzers. We begin with the tracks that rolled across Europe. These vehicles evolved from training tractors into the instruments of modern mechanized warfare. Panzer I. Originally disguised as an agricultural tractor to evade the Treaty of Versailles, the Panzer I served as the training platform of the Panzerwaffe. Lightly armored and armed only with twin machine guns, it was obsolete by 1939, yet pressed into combat as an emergency stopgap in Poland and France. Panzer II. Designed as an interim solution while true medium tanks were developed, the Panzer II carried a 20mm autocannon and formed the numerical core of early Blitzkrieg forces. Fast but thinly armored, it was effective against infantry, but quickly outclassed and later relegated to reconnaissance roles. Panzer XXXV. Captured from Czechoslovakia, the Panzer XXXV offered respectable early war firepower, but suffered from an over-engineered pneumatic steering system. On the Eastern Front, frozen air lines crippled mobility, making the tank unreliable in harsh winter conditions. Panzer XXXVIII. A superior Czech design, the Panzer XXXVIII used a durable mechanical transmission and a 37mm gun. Though eventually obsolete as a tank, its exceptionally reliable chassis remained in production until 1945, forming the basis for Marder and Hetzer tank destroyers. Panzer III. Designed as Germany's primary tank killer, the Panzer III introduced the revolutionary three-man turret that defined modern armored warfare. Upgraded from weak 37mm guns to long-barreled 50mm cannons, it remained effective until weight limits prevented further armor improvements. Panzer IV. Originally built as an infantry support tank with a short-barreled 75mm gun, the Panzer IV evolved into the Wehrmacht's true workhorse. Rearmed with a high-velocity cannon after encountering the T-34, it became the backbone of German armored forces and stayed in production throughout the war. The heavy hitters, heavy tanks. Now we enter the realm of the big cats. These vehicles prioritized armor and firepower over mobility, designed to dominate the battlefield through sheer intimidation. Tiger I, Panzer VI. Officially designated Panzer VI, the Tiger I became the symbol of German armored power. With 100mm frontal armor and the lethal 88mm KWK-36 gun, it dominated battlefields in 1942 and created widespread Tiger phobia. However, its complex interleaved wheels trapped mud and ice, making maintenance a constant burden. VK45.01P, Porsche Tiger. Ferdinand Porsche's failed rival to the Tiger I featured an experimental petrol-electric drive. While innovative on paper, it proved catastrophically unreliable, with engines overheating and catching fire under load. Rejected for service, its unused chassis were repurposed into the Ferdinand heavy tank destroyer, Panther, Panzer V. Developed in response to the Soviet T-34, the Panther combined sloped armor with a high-velocity 75mm gun capable of penetrating heavier targets than the Tiger I. Despite its battlefield lethality, rushed production caused chronic final drive failures, forcing crews to perform constant field repairs. Tiger II, King Tiger. The Königstiger represented the peak of German heavy tank design. Nearly 70 tons, it merged thick armor with sloped protection and mounted the devastating 88mm L-71 gun. While unmatched in firepower, it used an underpowered engine, leading to frequent mechanical breakdowns and fuel shortages. Panzer VIII, Maus. Weighing an unprecedented 188 tons, the Maus was the heaviest enclosed armored vehicle ever built. Armed with a 128mm main gun, it functioned as a mobile bunker rather than a practical tank. Too heavy for bridges and logistically impossible to deploy, only 2 prototypes were completed. The ambushers, tank destroyers. As production collapsed and resources tightened, firepower was concentrated into cheaper, turretless ambush platforms. As the war turned defensive, Germany needed cheaper, lower-profile vehicles to ambush Allied armor. These turretless hunters became the deadly spine of the late-war Wehrmacht. Panzerjäger I. The first German tank destroyer was a crude improvisation, an obsolete Panzer I chassis fitted with a Czech 47mm anti-tank gun behind a thin shield. It gave firepower to a useless platform, seeing action in France and North Africa, but offered virtually no protection to its exposed crew. Marder II. A stopgap solution built on the Panzer II chassis. Armed with the powerful 75mm Pak 40, the Marder II could destroy T-34s at range. Its tall silhouette and open fighting compartment, however, left crews vulnerable to shrapnel, weather, and return fire. Marder III. The most successful Marder variant, built on the reliable Czech 38T chassis. Early models used captured Soviet 76.2mm guns, later replaced by German 75mm cannons. Though awkward and exposed, it served effectively as a mobile anti-tank reserve until war's end. Sturmgeschütz series, Stug 3 and 4. Originally assault guns, the Stug series became Germany's most effective tank killers. Low profile, turretless, and easy to conceal, they destroyed more Allied tanks than any other German vehicle. The Stug 4 kept production alive by mounting the same superstructure on a Panzer IV chassis. Jagdpanzer 38T, Hetzer. A compact, fully enclosed tank destroyer using a widened 38T chassis. Sloped armor increased survivability, and it introduced a remote-controlled roof machine gun. Extremely cramped inside, the design sacrificed crew comfort for concealment and battlefield efficiency. Jagdpanzer IV. Designed as a low-profile replacement for the Stug, the Jagdpanzer IV used the Panzer IV chassis. Late war versions mounted the long L-70 gun, making it lethal at range. The heavy weapon caused severe nose heaviness, accelerating suspension wear, and undermining mobility in late war conditions. Jagdpanther. Often considered the finest tank destroyer of World War II, it combined the Panther's mobility with the devastating 88mm Pak 43 gun. Fast, well-armored, and deadly at long range, it was an ideal ambush weapon, produced in numbers too small to influence the war. Ferdinand Elephant. Built on rejected Porsche Tiger chassis, this 65-ton vehicle carried massive frontal armor and an 88mm gun. It excelled at long-range combat at Kursk, but lacked close defense weapons. Later rebuilt as the Elephant, it finally received a machine gun and commander's cupola. Jagdtiger, the heaviest armored fighting vehicle to see combat service. Armed with a colossal 128mm cannon, the Jagdtiger functioned as a mobile fortress. Its extreme weight overwhelmed transmissions and bridges, causing most losses to mechanical failure rather than enemy fire, a recurring late-war pattern. Mobile artillery and AA, self-propelled guns. Fire support had to move as fast as the armored spearheads it was meant to protect. Germany pioneered the concept of mechanized artillery, ensuring that heavy fire support could keep pace with the Blitzkrieg. Wespe, the Wasp, an effective fusion of old and new. The Wespe mounted a 105mm field howitzer on the obsolete Panzer II chassis, providing mobile artillery support for panzer divisions. Compact and reliable, it was so successful that Panzer II production was redirected almost entirely to this role. Hummel, the Bumblebee. Built on the hybrid Geschützwagen III-IV chassis, the Hummel carried a powerful 150mm howitzer capable of striking targets over 13 kilometers away. It delivered heavy firepower to armored formations, but remained open-topped, leaving crews exposed to weather and shrapnel. Nashorn, the rhinoceros. Originally called the Hornice, the Nashorn mounted the long 88mm anti-tank gun on the same hybrid chassis as the Hummel. It could destroy heavy Allied armor at extreme ranges, but its thin armor provided minimal protection, earning it the reputation of a glass cannon. Sturmtiger. Designed for brutal urban combat, the Sturmtiger used a Tiger I chassis to fire a massive 380mm rocket-propelled projectile. Each round required a crane to load. Intended to demolish fortified buildings, it saw limited action in Warsaw and during the Ardennes offensive. Flak Panzer IV series, Wirbelwind and Ostwind. Built on the Panzer IV chassis, these vehicles defended armored columns from air attack. The Wirbelwind used a quad 20mm mount with devastating anti-infantry effect. The Ostwind replaced it with a 37mm cannon, offering greater range and lethality against armored ground attack aircraft. Recon, transport, and oddities. Speed, logistics, and information decided what tanks alone could not. Victory required speed, information, and logistics. These vehicles carried the Panzer Grenadiers, towed the heavy guns, and acted as the eyes of the division. Sd.Kfz 222, the standard light armored car of the early Blitzkrieg. With four-wheel drive and a 20mm autocannon, it excelled on Western Europe's paved roads. On the Eastern Front, its small wheels and low ground clearance made it ineffective in deep mud and snow. Sd.Kfz 231-232, 8-Rad, Germany's heavy reconnaissance vehicle. Featuring 8-wheel drive with all wheels steerable, it combined mobility with long-range communications. The distinctive bed spring antenna marked it as a command and reconnaissance hub for panzer divisions. Sd.Kfz 234-2, Puma, the peak of wheeled armored car design. The Puma mounted a 50mm gun capable of engaging light tanks and abandoned the bulky antenna for a sleek profile. Its air-cooled diesel engine and rear driver allowed rapid, high-speed withdrawal. Sd.Kfz 251, Hanomag, the definitive German half-track infantry carrier. It allowed Panzer Grenadiers to advance with tanks under small arms protection. With more than 20 variants, it served as everything from ambulance to rocket launcher, becoming a true multi-role platform. Sd.Kfz 7, the critical heavy artillery mover. This 8-ton half-track was essential for towing the famous 88mm flak gun. It transported the weapon, crew, and ammunition across rough terrain, making it logistically indispensable for anti-tank operations. Sd.Kfz 9, FAMO, the heaviest half-track ever produced. Designed for recovery operations, it was the only vehicle capable of towing disabled heavy tanks. As armor grew heavier, even the FAMO struggled, often requiring multiple vehicles linked together, pushing recovery to its limits. VW Kübelwagen, Germany's equivalent to the Jeep. Based on a modified Beetle chassis, it lacked four-wheel drive but used a locking differential and light weight for excellent mobility. Its air-cooled engine ensured reliability in deserts and extreme winter conditions. VW Schwimmwagen, an amphibious evolution of the Kübelwagen. With a sealed hull and fold-down propeller, it crossed rivers with ease. Selectable four-wheel drive made it one of the most capable light reconnaissance vehicles of the war. Sd.Kfz II Kettenkrad, a hybrid of motorcycle and track tractor. Steered by handlebars but turned by braking tracks, it was originally intended for airborne troops. Later, it found a vital role towing Me-262 jets to conserve precious aviation fuel. Goliath Tracked Mine, a remote-controlled demolition vehicle carrying up to 100 kilograms of explosives. Designed to destroy bunkers and bridges, it was innovative but fragile. Slow speed and vulnerable control cables made it unreliable under combat conditions. Landkreutzer P-1000 Ratte, a purely theoretical superweapon. This proposed 1,000-ton land cruiser would have mounted twin 280mm naval guns. Impractical, immobile, and logistically impossible, it symbolized Germany's fixation on size over strategic reality. From the mass-produced Stug to the absurd Ratte, the German arsenal was a mix of technical brilliance and logistical delusion. Here is the question for you. If you could command one of these vehicles, would you choose the reliability of the Stug III or the raw power of the Tiger II? Let me know in the comments below.